Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, December 7th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of technical analysis and how it can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Before I get started, I want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering. So if you're liking what you see as I go through the video and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click on. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And if you're liking what you see and you want to learn more about the tool and how to use it to build consistency, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Now, a couple of quick clarification points. First off, I will be using what is known as a 30-minute time frame. So if you're new, each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time for all the charts here moving forward. And then next, the market is still open for a little bit. So this final candlestick here, it will be moving around and shifting for each chart. So you're not seeing things. You don't have to go to the doctor. Your eyes are just fine. That candle will be moving, but the market's close enough to almost being closed where the levels I talk about here are going to be relevant for headed into Tuesday. So let's get into it now. So first one here, CVFI. And in my mind, this is all based around a single level, and that is this area right here at $14.50, meaning the key dynamic here, the key overall kind of premise that I think a lot of people around the world are going to be wondering is, all right, can the price recover back up here? And if it can it actually push through that level? And when a lot of people are watching the same levels, wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. And to me, that's what I think 1450 is all about. Because yes, I understand right now that the price is pulling back. And to be fair, maybe this is the beginning of the end. Maybe it's just going to keep on bleeding downwards. However, maybe it's not, right? That's a two-sided coin. So if it's not, and the price recovers back up to that 1450 area, that's where the very interesting dynamic comes into play. Can the price get pushed up through that level? Now, I suppose if you like to play pullbacks, you could maybe try to buy some pullback down around 12. But in my mind, the most interesting and probably the most observed, dynamic out there is, can the price recover back up to 1450? And if it can get the break up through there, then while nothing is guaranteed, it's more than plausible to think that break could create quite a bit of upside movement. So we'll have to see what happens with it and watch that 1450 mark as the week plays out. Next one, LCID, and I don't mean to say the obvious, but to build some context, crazy start to the day, big gap down, price then dropped all the way there, but to give full credits to, a very nice bounce in the upwards direction. So from where it was to where it managed to close, very nice move, but that now brings about the more than valid question of, yeah, great bounce today, but is there any sort of true power behind this bounce? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make defining that situation much easier to follow, and it has to do with a simple fact of, well, if this is a truly strong bounce, well, then the price is going to keep on bouncing. In other words, the price is going to make progress. Now, I understand me just saying make progress. Those are just words, right? But that's the nice thing about charts is they allow you to take words and then make them very visual, very quantifiable. So when I say, well, the price needs to make progress, what I'm referring to now is staying up here above $41. And why is that important? I'm not saying this will occur, but just to explain, if the price comes down to 41 and at least just hovers around that area, what is the price still doing at that point? Well, it's still having a set of lows there. It's having those lows down there. And if you envision each of those as stair steps, what do you have? Well, you still have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. And again, that's what a truly strong bounce is going to do. It's going to keep making progress. And in this situation, again, quote unquote, progress being defined as 41. So keep a close eye on that as a support. In terms of resistance, next key level to watch very closely is going to be all about that purple line there, the 50 period moving average, currently valid at right around 47.85. So watch that closely. But all in all, very nice bounce today, no doubt about it. But is there true power behind the bounce? Well, let's see if it can make progress. And step one in that is staying up above $41. Next one here, AMC, and a lot of interesting dynamics are going on, especially, and this will mean more to those of you that watched the past videos, but I've talked about that purple line before. Again, 50 period moving average being the level of resistance. I mean, check this out. Price came up here this morning, rejected, came back up here again, rejected, and you can see right now just slightly getting essentially pushed down by that purple line. So it's almost like that purple line has some sort of, disease, and every time the price gets up there, the price just runs away from it. Now, of course, that's not actually what's happening. I'm not saying the price can never get above that purple line, but it's just kind of amazing, right? The power of charts is how the price it's almost like it's scared of that purple line. Again, being the 50 period moving average. So that remains the main area of resistance. So right now that area is valued right around 29.50. If the price can push up through 29.50, then the next key overarching level of resistance to watch very closely, going to be right up there at the $31 mark. So if this upwards movement continues, again, 29.50 initial resistance, and then $31 next area of resistance. As far as supports, you do have this overall level down here at 25. But after today's bounce and going back to the topic we just talked about in terms of showing, progress, the quote unquote progress point here that I would define right there at 27. Now, if 27 fails, not the total end of the line, because you still could have a potential double bottom around 25. But yeah, as far as what's going to make this current bounce look the strongest and healthiest, definitely if it can show some progress by staying above 27. So keep an eye on these technical levels here moving forward. Next one, ISIG, and what an absolutely monster move today, not only from the price action standpoint, but looking down there at the volume. Huge volume came pouring in, and we have a very nice pattern here that's formed. And once again, to go back to the lines of self-fulfilling prophecy, I assure you a lot of people have noticed this and have drawn breakout area right there around, let's just call it $15.50, give or take a little bit. So does that guarantee anything? Absolutely not. Does it make it rational? Does it make it valid to think that if the price can come up there and get the push up through $15.50, that could then create another round of upwards buying and upwards momentum? It absolutely is, and you can see right now as this candle continues to play out, all sorts of volatility, all sorts of momentum, but you got to like the fact that it's maintaining itself and has formed a nice pattern. So I'm just going to make this all one color. So we have a support trend line like that. Then we have the big momentum move like that. And for those of you that are more visual, let's put the golf hole down here. So this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because it's a bullish pattern doesn't mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to keep moving up. But is it plausible to think that the price could continue to move up after forming this nice little pattern here? Yeah, that's absolutely a plausible thought to have. So overall, I think a whole lot of people are going to be watching that 1550 mark. Can the price break through it? And if it does, just how much more upside buying pressure does that create? The next couple of days are going to be very, very interesting. Next one, NIO, and this is a very fascinating one because we have just that much more evidence now that this thing is potentially bottomed out. Again, that doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but that much more evidence, which makes it that much more plausible to think that maybe the bottom here is finally in. And a couple reasons. The first reason is, at first, out of the opening gates, that 30 minutes, you can see that green line that I talked about on Friday was broken, and the chart did not like that at all. It broke and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped, got down there, and then in that same 30-minute session, snapped all the way back up there, and you can see the bears tried again to push it back down, but notice what happened right there. Completely failed, and then after that, it has just started to go sideways once again. Does that mean that it's the bottom? No, but that does symbolize a whole lot of strength that, yes, the bears won for a second, broke down through there, but as it snapped back up, you can see they tried again, failed, and now it continues to go sideways. So from a risk-reward standpoint, assuming, of course, you can honor stop losses and have proper risk control systems in place, this is a valid chart to say, I think this could be a bottom. Let me put on some sort of trade. But if you're someone that's just going to say, nope, I refuse to take losses, hold and hope, well, if this is not the bottom and it resumes its downtrend, well, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. But if you can honor risk, then from a risk-reward standpoint, you have a very nice situation here. And, I fully can see the logic that you would use of, no, I really do think now this is that much more evidence that this could be a bottom. So certainly a very interesting setup moving forward. Next one here, CPIX, and this will mean a tad bit more to those of you that watched the past top 10 videos, but previously I had talked about that as an area of resistance, and nothing had really happened since that video. You can see the price just, chopped around below it. But today, something did happen. Later on in the afternoon, price came to life. You can see via the volume right there. It got up that area. So in technical jargon, got the breakout, and from there hasn't really looked back as it's continued to cruise upwards. So very nice breakout here, and that's also what's going to bring about the first key update. So let me get rid of that line right there. And let's change that. And this is just based on a foundational rule in charting. When levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So 525 is now one of the overarching areas of support, but a more ideal level of support. When you're like, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? That would now be if the price could say up here above 630. Now, let me be very clear. If the price drops below 630, I'm not saying that implies the entire chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But if the price could manage to stay above there, that would certainly make the chart look very, very strong. But again, if it doesn't hold above there, you still have that 525 mark, and you still have the, the 50 period moving average right there as supports. In terms of levels of resistance, nothing fancy or complicated at all. Literally becomes a question of where did the party and momentum finally stop today, and that's right up there at $7.50. So 750 will be that key breakout area moving forward. But all in all, very, very impressive move. Not just a question of, is this the start of something much bigger? Is there more momentum to follow? We'll see how the next couple days play out. Next one, VYNE. And going back to the topic of self-fulfilling prophecy, we have that again here because we have a very, very well-defined pattern. So I assure you, lots of people have drawn that trend line right there. And then other people have, or those same people have drawn another trend line somewhere, give or take right around there. Let me change that to green to represent more of the bullish dynamic. And then, like I said, and have done before, let me just do this to keep it a little bit easier to see. So again, we have resistance there. We have support there. We have the big momentum move right there. We have our golf hole down here, and we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So if you like this price range down below the $2 mark, then VYNE here has given a very solid bullish pattern. And once more, just to reiterate, doesn't guarantee anything's going to happen, but is it plausible to think that this could get continuation in the upwards direction? Yeah, that is a more than plausible thought. So if you like these sorts of patterns, if you like this sort of price range, then this one definitely belongs on your watch list. Next one, PROG, and this one has been very popular in the past and has made some very, very impressive moves. In fact, here are some old annotations from previous time I did it. But you can also see here that it's been in a very, very nasty downwards move. However, the big difference here is that since this nasty move has started, it's actually up above that purple line. You can see previously it's tried to get up above it, rejected. Tried to get above it, rejected. But today, tried again and is now up above it. Now, does that mean it's for sure going to stay above it and it's for sure going to reverse all the way around? No, of course not. Hopefully by this point you get, no, okay, we get it. There are no guarantees. But now does it become more rational to think that this is maybe the start of a bigger turnaround? Yeah, that absolutely that absolutely guarantees it. That would be false. It doesn't guarantee it, but it absolutely makes it valid to think that, okay, yeah, maybe this is going to be, the start of something bigger. So on that note, the longer now it can stay up above that purple line, the better. Again, going back to that rule that when levels of resistance are broken, you want to see them act as support. So yeah, definitely want to see 265 act as support and continue to act as support moving forward. And the longer it does that, that's just the more credibility, the more evidence that, okay, yeah, this not only is a bounce, but this bounce is actually now starting to turn into a reversal. As far as levels of resistance are concerned now moving forward, first key level going to be right here at the $2.90 mark. So keep a close eye on that. And I'm sure if the price gets up above $2.90 and stays above there, I'll be back to update the chart at that point in time. But yeah, definitely very nice bounce. Good to see it finally able to get above and stay above that purple line. So let's see if the price can continue to build upon this bounce. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and you've heard this before, so I'm going to go through it very quickly because you understand the premise now. Yes, crazy, nasty move to start. Price dropped all the way down there. Very, very impressive bounce. So the question becomes, okay, yeah, great bounce, but is there any sort of true power behind the bounce? So now we need to define our progress point, right? So if this is a truly strong bounce, well, then it needs to show signs of progress. And in my mind, that progress point right there at 975, because even if the price were to come down there and stabilize out, what you'd still have? Well, you'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have that lows there, and you still have those stair steps in the upwards direction. So 975, again, the quote-unquote progress point, that's going to help illustrate whether or not this bounce has any sort of genuine strength behind it. As far as areas of resistance, first key level to watch, going to be right up here at, let's see, what is that? The 1030 mark, and then after 1030, you'll also want to watch that 50-period moving average, currently valid at, we'll call it the 1058 mark. But yeah, no doubt about it, like a couple of these other stocks, good quality bounces, very strong bounces, but is there any sort of true quality? Is there any sort of genuine power behind them? Well, let's just see if they can start to make progress moving forward. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, if you want to learn more about this tool, how it can be used, how it should be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free class. It'll be this Thursday, December 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you like this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then please help me out with some feedback. Hit that like button, leave a basic comment down below, even if it's just saying hi, a ticker symbol that you traded today. But those two things, hitting the like button, a simple comment, go a long way in communicating to me that you enjoy the videos. And as long as I know people are enjoying, then I have no problem continuing to make them. And like I said, if you want to learn more about the tool and how it can be used to build consistency, definitely get signed up for the free class. Everybody take care. Have a good one.